why aren't you guys doing Karate Kid?
That was kind of a weird thing. It is like, if you don't go to the tournament, we're going to burn your house down. And, everything. And you're like, well, then why don't you just go, well, no, you can't say that to me. That's insane. In reality, a lawyer would show up and be like, did you say that you're going to beat them up? Are you out of your mind? He's just in bed. He's just asleep like this.
Yeah, sleeping with his fist clenched, his jaw clenched.
just like fighting people in his dreams. Yeah, there was no school therapist back then in the 80s to be like, what's going on with you? What happened? Why are you guys dressing up like skeletons and chasing a new kid? But also just Johnny's energy. Is anybody just noticing his energy just at all? Like at the dance, he's like, "Hey, how's it going?" Like no one's clocking that at all. No one's clocking that he's got massive issues. I think now people wouldn't even let him in the door. They're like, "Okay, there's this guy. He's like crying, and he just said he's crying, and he doesn't know why, and he's like freaking out over here." Let's have him dance with our daughter. It just makes no sense. I always thought he was that he owned that property or something. That was my that he probably had a couple of apartment buildings in the Reseda area. That was what I thought. But at the same time, but also it's like, it was the 80s too. So it's like the person just can't have like a normal house. Every house was huge, It's like, all right. But that was my... when I was a kid, I was like, oh, well, he's doing well for himself. He owns a lot of property. Wow, he's the king of Reseda. That's nice. That's the most famous thing. That's the most famous thing of the whole movie. And I remember that blowing my mind because you really did not understand why he was doing all that. And then when he's like, I quit, and he goes, and he tries to hit him and he does everything. Again, you were like, oh my gosh, this is the greatest movie ever made. That is so smart.
That is good.
'Cause I've never seen that really in other kung fu movies where people are cleaning and raking, and then it's, but yes, I don't know how much of that is real, but it works in the movie. As a kid, you're like, oh, and I think parents loved it because they could get their kids to do chores, and they think, the kid would be like, oh, my parents teach me how to defend myself. And then people would laugh at him from that, too. It's very 80s. Nobody has ever laughed at anybody. Adults would not laugh at a kid. Like, they're just evil. No, but that was always in 80s movies where it's like rich white adults are evil who go to like country clubs are just evil people. Yeah, so they just laugh. They're like, look at him, the Italian boy with the spaghetti all over him. No, I didn't like, that stuff is all, that's also in all the 80s movies, is just like the main character loving the girl, but thinking, like, seeing the wrong thing. And that's a trope. She didn't make fun of your Halloween costume. She didn't do anything. That right there just shows, like, she likes you out of the gate. No one wants you in Reseda. Get it through your brain. And the mayor of Reseda shows up. Get the fuck out of here. That was the thing about this movie was, like, seen as a kid, it really made just, like, dating seemed terrifying, Like it just seemed that if you made one person mad, you made like an entire city mad. Like they were all linked and they all were going to be against you. But it works for the movie because you do feel like everything is against him and it's just him and Mr. Miyagi versus everybody. And I get, but I don't think you could do it like that now. I just think people would be like, give me a break. He's like, before I pass out, let me just get my backstory real quick. I like to read my backstory to fall asleep. Daniel's son blew that somehow, and now she's with Marty McFly. Yeah, he's scared, and that's like, and those cutaways to Mr. Miyagi are so funny, where he's like, "Oh my God, what have I done?" And it has a very famous song, which is "You're the Best Around." I think like yes, and then that became like. Just became like a movie, like it's like Eye of the Tiger or something. It just became a thing. They made me do it. The guys suddenly grow a conscience at right at the wrong moment, and that also gave me a false thing as a kid, where I was like, oh, boys, when they do something bad, you will immediately feel bad.
Yeah,
and that's not true.
Yeah,
don't go, oh man, I'm so sorry. But I think that's all you need. Like, I don't need to know anything else. I'm just like, he won. You're emotional.
Love it.
Emotionally, you're just like this, and then it's this release that he won, and then they're like, now get out, And then, so you walk, you leave the theater like going insane. You're like, I can't believe it just happened. You know what I mean? It's like, if they had gone to like him with like, playing mini golf again or whatever, you would have had a chance to calm down. But instead, I just remember coming out and like the light hitting us and being with my dad and my sister, and I was like, like you couldn't believe it. You were just like, he won. Like you were just so stoked.
Cute. Yes.
Also, they don't do the freeze frames anymore to end movies. They used to do this all the time, like him smiling and then the freeze frame. They just don't do that anymore. They used to do that constantly, where it's like,
I miss it.
And then like credits. Yeah, I love those freeze frames. But
it was just, he was yep.
I loved it because he says sweep the leg and then he does it. So you're like, it really does. It builds in a really great way because he's already broken his leg. So you think, oh, he's going to come back and do the crane thing and win. It's like, no. He's going to hurt him again.
Yes.
And then you're like, well, now he's really fucked. Like, it does a really good job of like, again, watching this with my kids, I got caught up in it again where I was like, oh God, I forgot that he like hurts his leg again. I forgot about that. Well, you guys haven't seen Karate Kid 2, huh?
No.
Okay, so Karate Kid 2 picks up, and this blew my mind. Saw that in the theater again with my dad and my sister. It picks up the second after Karate Kid 1 ends.
Whoa! What a fun way to do that. You should watch
it. It picks up the minute it ends.
Oh, so we gotta watch that.
So when I was a kid, it was like, I got to see like what happened.
Yeah, that's amazing.
5 seconds later, you know what I mean?
That's great.
Like, so it's pretty great.
I love that.
So I think they made 3 with Ralph Macchio, but I only saw the first 2. And the second one had a really famous song too, the Peter Cetera song. No, I'm not going to sing it, but I'll play it.
You can sing it.
Come on, Bill, sing it.
Honor. You know that song?
That's perfect.
I am the hero. Please stop. Don't do that. I will say this. The opening of the second movie starts with a fight. She was the next Karate Kid. Yeah. The next Karate Kid. Well, they did it with Jaden Smith and Jackie Chan.
Yeah,
and Jackie
Jaden
Chan
Smith.
as Mr. Miyagi's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I never saw that movie, but he's awesome. I mean, he's amazing.